Great to welcome back to our Book Talk segment. She was with us, I believe, last fall, and she is now talking about a very successful book that did so well in hardcover, now out in paperback. Great novel called Find Her. We're joined today by a best-selling author Lisa Gardner on the telephone today. And Lisa, good to talk with you again. How you been?
Just fine. Thank you so much for having me back on the show.
I think it was last December we had you on, or last fall when Find Her came out originally, and congratulations on the success of it. I know authors hope a book does well, but did it exceed your expectations?
It has been, the reception for the book has been phenomenal, and the great reviews, but just to hear from readers how much they really respond to Flora Dane and her story and this, exciting cat and mouse game to find a missing college student. It's been amazing.
The books have a life of their own. Obviously, you start working on the next one when one's done, but you have the people out there reading it at different times, so I guess you get feedback for a long time after a book comes out, right?
Yes, especially with Goodreads and online programming. It's still old-fashioned mail. I mean, as a thriller author, you're very aware of your fans, and you want to keep them happy.
Well, let's again talk about, for maybe the folks that weren't with us before, you mentioned Flora Dane as the protagonist in the book, and of course she's, I don't want to give away too much again, but she's kidnapped, and that's kind of where it starts, right?
Yes, so Flora Dane is a survivor. She was once kidnapped and held captive for 472 days. She was rescued, but 5 years later, she's still struggling to feel safe again. So to that end, she has become an expert in self-defense. She knows how to pick locks. She knows how to break restraints. She knows how to take cool things out of your trash and use it to ward off, say, an attacker. But she's still struggling with what is her new life, what is her new purpose. So when a college student goes missing in Boston, Flora decides that if she can find and rescue this missing girl, maybe she can find the happily ever after for both of them. So we have Flora Dane, who was once a victim. She's now a vigilante and possibly one of the most dangerous women in Boston.
Yeah, comes full circle for her, and you're from New England area, so you write about the area you know, right? This all takes place in Boston, doesn't it? Most of it.
Yes. Find Her also features Boston detective Dede Warren. She has been in some other novels, but you don't need to have read them. And it is an interesting duel between these two very different characters. I mean, Dede's homicide detective, she will tell you she has training, not to mention possibly sanity on her side. Flora's a bit reckless. But on the other hand, you do like anyone who's helping getting predators off the street.
and you write about you're dealing with the FBI, a victim specialist unit, right? So there's that part of the story, kind of like Criminal Minds or SVU, similar to that, right?
Well, yes. Much like most of my readers and fans of suspense, I'm always fascinated about the new areas of law enforcement out there. And one of the new things has been the FBI has formed this Office of Victim Assistance, because we're getting these huge, sensational media cases, criminal cases that have nationwide attention. And it is so draining on the families and so much pressure. I mean, someone like Flora Dane, when she's kidnapped, her mom has to go on national news. She's held for over a year. It's not so simple to just pick up the pieces of your life, to start where you left off. So the victims' assistants are there to help with plans for reentry, to help create support, to help our family navigate this whole new world where, once you were just a kid, then you're a victim, and now what? That's what Flora Dane's kind of struggling with, this whole notion of, and now what?
Now, when you write a story like this, a thriller, obviously, you want to make it entertaining, but I would imagine you have to do a lot of research, and especially when you're doing like an FBI kind of story or law enforcement, you want to be accurate as well, right?
Yes, I spent a lot of time working with homicide detectives. What are the steps they would take in a real missing person's case? It's also one of the things I've learned in my years as a writer is always ask the detectives to play criminal. They make excellent criminals. Anytime you're doing, a kidnapping book really is about logistics. And homicide detectives in real life know how to anticipate these things. This is how they're going to find killers. This is how they find criminals. Trying to think through, how do you move a victim through the streets of Boston? There are cameras everywhere. So how are you going to make this happen? Where can anyone truly disappear? Again, there's cameras everywhere. How are you going to make this done? By researching with, investigators and learning how they think all of this through, you get the beginnings, of that cat and mouse game, that really cool puzzle that makes for an excellent thriller read.
And people, like we mentioned before, with the TV shows, Criminal Minds and SVU and all that, they really like these types of stories. Obviously, some of them have been on for so long, so it's that type of story. People are fascinated by the criminal element, aren't they?
I think the psychology of crime, and in this case, really of Find Her, the psychology of being a survivor. What does that mean?
Right.
It's intriguing to all of us. We want to understand criminals better, so frankly we can avoid them. But we want to understand survivors better because maybe they hold the secret to our own success. I mean, if they can go through the worst and still be standing, well, then maybe there's hope for all of us.
And of course, you mentioned the character. A lot of your fans follow so much, Detective Dede Warren, and I imagine that character kind of evolves the more you write about her, right?
Yes. When we first met Dede, I'm not sure, 7 books ago or so, she was, a single workaholic homicide detective who loves her job. She still loves her job, but somewhere along the way she did, almost in spite of herself, pick up a husband. She has a small child. This whole domestic life is kind of a mystery to her. Her job continues to be where she feels the strongest, but of course she loves her family, and that how do you juggle it? How do you have it all? I think gives her some depth now. In the beginning, you just loved her passion for her job. Now she's a little more human, trying to make all these things work.
Yeah, great character to have, and I'm sure she'll continue in future books. We want people right now to get out and get the paperback version of Find Her, and of course, as we say, a great summertime read. Those paperbacks, people love doing that. Go to the beach or wherever you might go and read a book like this. Great entertainment.
Yes, and Flora and Dede will return next year, where they're hot on the trail of a girl who may or may not have murdered her entire family.
Oh, wow. We'll definitely have you on back when that comes out. But in the meantime, Find Her, and Lisa, give out your website again. People can get more information about you in the book.
Yes, you can read an excerpt from Find Her at lisagardner.com, or you're welcome to follow me on Twitter or Facebook at Lisa Gardner Books.
Great. Lisa, pleasure talking to you. Congratulations again on the book. And again, we'll look forward to when the next one comes out. We'll talk to you then. But thanks for being with us today.
Great. Thank you so much.
I'm Stan Brock. 30 years ago, I formed Remote Area Medical to help people overseas. But then we found generations of families in America isolated by poverty from the health care they need. Together, we can take dental, vision, and medical help to 1 million adults and their kids, right here at home in the United States of America.
If you'd like to order the book we're talking about, please go to DougMilesMedia.com and enter the author's name in the Amazon search box. Thank you for listening. Please come back soon for more conversations here at DougMilesMedia.com. This has been a presentation of Doug Miles Media, all rights reserved. You can listen to or download previous programs at iTunes, Stitcher.com, or DougMilesMedia.com.